Yeah, it's it's fucked up to me how many people uh don't know how much dope music comes out of the Canadian hip hop scene. Because I myself was like obsessed with hip hop for a long time before I gave any fucks about the Canadian hip hop scene, right? Until somebody kind of offered me, hey, do you want to do a show on CKXU? I was like, I could because I know enough guys in Edmonton. I could probably put some episodes together just out of like local music. And then I thought about it more and was like, why don't I just be the mixtape DJ that I always wished there was for the Canadian scene? Because there's a lot of dope MCs, there's a lot of dope producers too. There's a lot of dope people making music in Canadian hip hop, and it just doesn't have like a home that kind of cross promotes between the fan bases. So like people in Vancouver have never heard of people in Winnipeg, have never heard of people in Saskatoon, have never heard of people in Montreal, have never heard of people in Toronto, have never heard of people in Sudbury, have never heard of people in Niagara Falls, have never heard of people in Edmonton, you know. So I was just like, well, fuck it. I'm going to start hitting follow on everybody who makes music up here. And so at this point, like I can show you on there. So like this is just the picks from last week, but every week I make a ATSIC radar playlist. So like this week it was only 59, 60 tracks. I think I cut one or two. So I listened for 3 hours, played video games to all the new releases. Cause like I said, I just hit follow on anybody I see in Canada making music. So like as much as artists hate Spotify, and I'm not a fan of how they pay artists and how they've changed music to being something that people look at as free, I do like Spotify for this. That every week on Friday, I just have a playlist. Boom, this is everything that came out of all the artists that you follow. And sometimes I have 8 or 9 hours worth of music. It depends week to week how much people across the country have dropped. But, some weeks like here, 641. So this was 122 songs, over 6 hours worth of music. So I'll sit here on stream. Sometimes I'm gaming. Sometimes I just sit here and listen to songs until they annoy me and then I skip them. But, from them, I find 15, 20, 30 songs a week that I then go buy and play on after the smoke is clear. And without this, I would be, I don't know. I follow everybody on Instagram and stuff too, so I guess I would see when their releases come up if Instagram decided to show me the people I'm following, but it doesn't really. Um, but so I was really grateful that when they rolled this release radar format back from being like 100 to 150 songs, uh, to being, I think it was like 20 or 30 now is what the average person gets in their release radar every week. And I emailed them telling them I was going to quit paying my Spotify subscription if they couldn't give me back the full length release radar. And they passed it up the line to their tech people, and voila, I didn't even get a response email from it. My release radar the next week just went back to being 150 tracks or whatever. So yeah, it's the grind. I'm here doing, like, I don't have a day job, man. This is, I live broke because I want to put in the proper amount of time to actually give credit to people who fucking deserve it in the Canadian scene. And so I know that, I'm not the overall gatekeeper arbiter who gets to say what is or isn't bad in hip hop, but I can at least sit here and play the stuff I like for people. And that's really, yeah, that's what I try to do, just get new music into new ears. So anyways, speaking of new music in new ears,